I am actually in my van. Don't let this sort of green outline fool
Yeah, it's kind of weird because I noticed that it is Hank, but also I was like, it's weird because I know it's a van, but why have you got a green outline? How's this happened? What's...
I know. And why am I sat in the middle?
Oh yeah, wait, I also I didn't even...
That'll be the first thing
Yeah,
I'd
I
have
got
noticed.
it.
Yeah. You've got a weird green outline and you're not in the driver's seat.
See, this is why magic tricks works really well on me. Because I never try and look for I don't try and look for the trick. I just enjoy the magic. I'm brilliant. I love Disney Pixar. I just enjoy the magic.
Enjoy the magic. Or I don't have to be in my van. I could be on the Millennium Falcon.
Yeah, I kind of think your van is cooler because you can't really take the Millennium Falcon camping, can you?
Well, no.
It's actually less practical. No, not there. That's not you.
Your Star Destroyer.
Nah.
Me in the Breakfast Club.
Perfect. It's great because you're sat in the middle of them. That's perfect.
It's also great because you don't even know who these people are.
No, but it's a great setup. And I know of the Breakfast Club. I'm just so young and youthful. I've not seen it. Should I watch it?
Should you watch the Breakfast Club? Yes, it's like...
Is it a good, like, what? I don't even know what genre of film it is.
What genre of film it is? It is, well, it's actually a Brat Pack film. You won't know.
I don't know what that means.
Directed by a guy called John Huston, who has done amazing movies. Have you seen Home Alone, right? Have you seen Home Alone?
Yeah, but it's terrible.
All right, you won't like that one. Ferris Bueller's Day Off?
No.
Just watch it.
I need to see Ferris Bueller's Day Off. I know I need to see that as well. There's lots of things I need to see.
It's really cool. Breakfast Club is a cracking sort of coming of age movie.
I'll pop it on my like when I'm sick film list because I always crack through a load of telly when I'm ill.
I'll move it off when I'm sick list and put it onto this is a film I need to watch because Rich has said so.
Maybe when I'm away for work, you have those like nights when you're on your own in a hotel room for kind of film.
Fine.
That's what I'm going to do.
Perfect. So, right. Hello, everybody, and welcome to what is the Van Oddcast, which is like Van Video Podcast. Quite like that. Live in the TeamGSD group with my good friend Stevie Potter. As I said, don't let the green outline fool you. I am actually in my van. It's nothing to do with digital trickery at all. So who we got? So those of you in the WhatsApp, hello. No, not WhatsApp, YouTube. Hello.
So many social connections. You can't even choose.
I know. Can't even remember. WhatsApp. Bloody whatever. So anyway, so today we're going to introduce you all to Stevie, and we're going to talk about the very important subject of going after what matters. Why people tend sometimes not to, shy away. This is really important, so I'm not going to do it. Guilty of doing that quite a lot. Things that we can do to kind of like not do that. And also just get a bit of background and just, share a bit of love for my dear friend Potter. All about you tonight, Potter. It's all about you.
Well, it's my favourite subject.
Good. Well, start off. Introduce yourself to the world.
So I'm Stevie Potter. I started life as a dentist, so I qualified 11 years ago now, and then hit a bit of a glass ceiling in my work because I was working as a general dentist, didn't really end up wanting to specialise, went down a pathway of aesthetic medicine and realised very quickly that actually the way that I wanted to live my life was meaning I needed to run my own business and work for myself. So I was already self-employed, but I thought I need to have some kind of string to my bow in the sense of my own business that I have control over, because I'm also a very, very keen athlete. And if I was going to do anything with that, I needed, I wanted more time to train, to do the things that I loved with that. And I was a bit uninspired with just kind of doing the same thing 9 to 5. So opened my own aesthetics business, loved it. And then just kind of morphed the business from there. It's now nutrition and wellbeing coaching based on what my clients wanted from me, which is fab. And now I also work as the performance and accountability coach within TeamGSD. And I work as a performance and nutrition coach for various different people outside of that in my own business.
Very good. Well done.
Thank you.
So I'm going to jump back a little bit there. So obviously we've both worked in the aesthetics market previously, me from the sales marketing perspective, you from the actual practitioner bit. You hit on something quite important there, which was you went from aesthetics into nutrition into wellness. Why? What was the? And you actually said, it's because what my clients were asking me for. Yeah. This is a big shift. What happened for you?
So when I realized that the way that I was approaching aesthetics was quite different to a lot of people in the industry, because I think anybody, even people from outside of the industry, when you think of aesthetics, it's so prolific now, and it is literally the first thing you think of is trout pouts and pillow faces and all that kind of thing, which is what a lot of us are trying to get away from. It's not what we want the industry to be known as. And so my kind of take on it was coming in and going, okay, well, what do I actually want out of this? What am I trying to bring to the table? And I was looking at, okay, well, we all want to, give confidence to people, that kind of thing. And alongside the treatments that I was giving to people, it was based around, okay, skin health and what can I do to improve my skin that isn't a treatment with you? And then it was conversations around, like, well, how do you look after yourself being a really busy person? So you're running a business, you're working in the business of somebody else as a freelancer as well. You're doing all this sport around there. So you've got to keep yourself in tip-top physical condition. Mentally, you've got to get through that. Like, how are you physically doing that? And it was just a question that kept coming up all of the time. And that was both as a dentist and in the aesthetics kind of world, that was what was happening. And I just thought, well, okay, what I need to do, what seems to be more of a sticking point, more of a problem for my patients, is how do I be a busy person, go after all the different things that I want, that I'm really interested in, that I love, that I'm passionate about, still look after myself? How do I make that work? What's the balancing act, and how do I look after myself within that?
You've got, I suppose, an interesting perspective on it all, because you kind of sit at a weird little triangle where, as a dentist, you kind of see what people put in their bodies, the actual, the oral health aspect of it. From the aesthetic side of things, you learn about what the kind of, impacts them physically, not just obviously skin health, but lines, wrinkles, premature aging, and all of that. But then the third little bit, which we've spoken about beforehand, is your knowledge of nutrition comes from being an athlete rather than coming from a place of trying to keep you well. So, in your past, you have to act like you're a sparrow and weigh your food, which sounds terrifying to me. Don't want to weigh. So that's giving you a kind of a unique insight into it all, I think. And now you kind of move that into helping other people achieve what they want to achieve. What are the kind of blocks that you see more common than others, for people who are watching, maybe starting their own business, and they run into something that kind of stops them in their tracks? From your perspective, what do you see?
I think the thing I see in the people I work with who are entrepreneurs, who are going out, you're really excited in the first, the first early days of your business, you're really excited because you're finally getting the opportunity, or, you're taking that leap of faith to do something that you're really passionate about. That's usually how most people end up starting their first business. The thing that then gets in the way is, okay, I've got tons and tons of energy and passion at the beginning, and then you very quickly realize that you can't run a business on that. You can't run a business on energy. Like that would be lovely. I would have the most successful business in the world if it was based on just my passion and energy. But you kind of soon realize that there's a lot of boring stuff that you have to do alongside it. So there are things that can drain you of that energy and passion if you're not approaching that in the right way. And the other thing is the time element, I think, is really important in the beginning, because for most people, you haven't got tons of money. You've got bags of energy, but you don't have tons of time, because you might be doing this kind of business as a bit of a side hustle. So you might have another job that you're working on. You've probably got a family that you're working for because you're trying to put food on the table for them and provide a better life for them, and also for yourself. And outside of that, you still want to go and be yourself and have your own hobbies and your own other interests outside of that, because we all know it's really important for most of us to have a little switch off and have a break from that. So I think it's those two elements. It's juggling all of the things, spinning all the plates and learning how to do that. And it's also getting through that kind of, okay, what happens when the passion runs out? And also, how do I stop that? How do I maintain the momentum and the energy and keep that going?
That's, yeah. Two very broad, different sort of philosophies. So, like David Goggins, who I am a fan of, right? His philosophy is, well, you don't stop. Yeah, kind of get that. But most people aren't built that way. So at some point, the enthusiasm drops, the energy drops, and you've got to find it to keep it going. And I always look at that as the difference between motivation and discipline. You know, motivation gets you going, discipline keeps you going, which is very, very hard. So as a disciplined individual, one of the most disciplined individuals I have ever met, because you need to be an athlete, right? You can't be an athlete and not be disciplined.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Shamefully disciplined. You make people like me just like feel like, you know, it's like, oh, I'm just a mortal, you know.
Well, it's that thing of people say, oh, there's something wrong with you if you turn down a social occasion for exercise. And I don't think that there's anything wrong with that. That's the thing. It's, you know, I look at that as going, I don't even see it as a sacrifice. I see it as a choice. It's going, that, you know, the goal was, you know, when it was world champs, the goal was that. And I was totally open about the fact that I would rather go out on my bike, do something, than I would go and drain my social battery and spend time doing that, because I would just be thinking I want to be doing something else. And I don't see that as a problem because I had a goal. I think it's different if it's just exercise. You know, there's a whole other bunch of psychological things where it is a problem. But if it's goal orientated, I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
That's the thing. That is it, isn't it? It's having and maintaining, having sight of the goal continually, eyes on the prize. And you know, people can be glib and say that, oh, you know, if you stray from the path, your goal's not big enough. I don't really agree with that. I think if you change your mind, it's okay to do that. You know,
I don't think enough people. Yeah, and not enough people do that because you know, circumstances change, and sometimes you do something and it is genuinely that you're like, no, that was a really stupid idea. I need to not do that again. And then what are you going to do? Just carry on down that path because everyone told you shouldn't quit and it's stupid? Like,
we give a real world example of this is the Spartan, the obstacle racing. So for those of you watching don't know what Spartan is, it's like Tough Mudder but harder for harder people. And there are 3 different distances, whereas your 5K, your 10K, and your 20K. And in that, basically, you got to run a bit, climb over stuff, pull stuff. You know, it's quite, you know, it's challenging. And I set myself a goal of doing the trifecta, which is all 3 of those different distances in 1 year. And start in the middle, because 20 was a bit hard, 5 too easy. Started in the middle. And after that 10K, I decided that I wasn't going to do it anymore for a perfectly reasonable reason. It really fucking hurt.
Well, and your knees were going to pop out.
I had to accept that my knees, I just couldn't. It's the training and the race. I couldn't do it. And not only because I couldn't do it, it had a negative impact on all of the other things that I was doing. So like actually walking, existing, not being in pain. So I had to take that decision that actually the goal I set myself was not the right one for me. Better goal actually was carry on doing karate and go and get my black belt. So I do think there's definitely something in it, and people allowing themselves to literally, you know, not just live in denial. If there are real reasons why that you shouldn't keep going after this particular goal, just have the bravery to allow yourself to say, you know what, I'd love to have done it, but it's just not going to work. Yeah. Or smash yourself to bits. Go for it anyway, because some people do that, right?
Yeah, and I mean, when I think in, you know, athleticism is something I go back to all the time because that's my real background, that's my real driver, that's how I get, you know, everything I apply. How would I do this if it was sport? How would I do it if it were a race? Because that's what I know, and that's how I know is repeated success time after time. If you look at some of the most successful athletes in the world, a lot of them have very, very traumatic pasts, and that is what helps them to just bulldoze through. But they're also the people that they're doing that for a living, they're doing it for very short-term success, and they have to have a plan for later down the line. For a lot of us as well, you know, the same applies in business. If you look at a lot of people who are, you know, are where they are and they look like they're doing really well, and, you know, oh, business was great, I made multi-millions out of this, da, da, da. It's because they've come from a very difficult place. And so it changes their mindset that when it's difficult, they actually thrive in that. For a lot of us, it's okay to sit there and go, do you know what? I don't have the drive that I want to work 7 days a week and have a multi-million-dollar corporation. And most people come into business and think the only way I can be successful at business is that I should aim for a multi-million-dollar company. But how many people are out there just going, actually, I just want to run a shop, or I want to sell my artwork, or I want to, you know, run this business because I want the flexibility to be with my family, or I want to monetize my passion. And, you know, in the world that we live in now, more and more people are trying to find other ways to kind of earn money. And actually, it's quite an exciting, there's an element of, it's an exciting way to have a hobby that makes you money. Like, that's exciting. And I think it's okay to turn around and suddenly go, oh, okay, maybe I bit off more than I could chew when I said I wanted to set up this business and make it this big and everything else. It's okay to back out of that and go, do you know what? I'm not here. I'm not prepared to make the choice to do the work it requires to get that outcome. Therefore, I need to change the goal. And that's absolutely fine. And in sport, if you don't have the time, the money, the drive to do all of the things that it takes to get you to the top, then you have to accept that that's not where you're going to be. And it's as simple as that. And yet in the real world, we're not that harsh on people. In the sporting world, it is literally like, you're not going to make it, give up, do something else. People need to be a bit more like that. And it's not a horrible thing to say. It's realistic, and it saves you a lot of time, wasting time on things that are not important to you, don't matter to you, that you are not able to prioritize, or that you don't want to.
Yeah, it's you're spot on. And I think there's a cultural, what's the word I'm looking for? Prejudice, I think. I've invented a term, a cultural prejudice in business.
That probably already exists, I think.
Probably exists. No, I just invented it. If I can find a way of smashing those together, then I'll have invented it.
A culture-dis.
Cul prej.
Prejudice.
No, that sounds way too complicated to say.
Okay.
There's a cul prej, right? So like Platty Jubes.
Platty Jubes and Jenny Leck.
Rosie Tats. That's one we came up with the other day.
What's that?
Roast potatoes.
I mean, we've got into the habit of work where now I hang around with a load of Gen Z girls, and they keep me young. But Morrison's has become Moribongos, and I don't even know where that's come from. It's not even, I don't even know what that is. It's just become, are you going to Moribongos?
Cheeky Nando's. Anyway, we digress. There's a there's a bit of cultural prejudice, I think, around, as you said, the concept of entrepreneurialism, running your own business, that kind of thing. Once upon a time, it was okay to be the nation of shopkeepers, right? And people, you know, they had a shop on the ground floor, they lived on the flat above it, and that was their existence. And they went to work, was 20 feet downstairs. That was it. Everyone was happy. And suddenly there was this, like, okay, the hustle gang, where if, you know, you're running your own business, if you're not, you know, driving a Ferrari by the time you're 30 and all that, you know, it just never really was into that. Even in the corporate world, there was this sort of little cohort who, you know, got to be VP by the time I'm 35 and, you know, have my second stomach ulcer. And you know what? It's okay. You know, if that's what you want to do, then that's absolutely fine. Yeah. But I felt very pressured at that point, you know, to actually go along with all of that. And even when I started my own business, you know, it became quite pressured to wear the suit, drive the car, have the house, all that sort of stuff. And it's just really not me. And when I realized that, and kept going back to sort of like going after, you know, what you want, when I realized that actually the baubles were very little interest to me, which is why I treated them like absolute shit. You know, an expensive car that literally was just filled with, it was like a bin. You know, I didn't really.
It's mainly filled with crumbs and
crumbs. It's filled with Ginster's pasty wrappers and all sorts of shite. You know, I didn't really care. I didn't care about it. But you know, when I discovered that actually what my passion lay in was the processes around it, the learning, the enjoyment of time, and spending more time with people, and really, you know, money connected me with time doing the things that I actually got a lot of pleasure out of. Badly fixing American motor vehicles.
Part-time bad mechanic.
Yeah, annoying the fam, all that sort of stuff. So, you know, that's effectively the definition of a lifestyle business, which I think most people, if I'm honest, should aim for, because I spent a lot of my time actually helping people to kind of depower their business, to take it from, oh, I've got a team of 5 people, I'm earning no more money than I was 4 years ago, and I've got all this responsibility. Well, get rid of the 4.
Yeah. And that is really interesting, because I think we just live in such a showy, you know, I talk a lot with my clients about external versus internal goals, so extrinsic and intrinsic factors, and the number of people, you know, and it takes a long time to unpick that. You know, I've worked with people, you know, consultants high up in medical professions who have just gone, I've got to this consultant level and I have no idea what to do with it, because I got here, you know, a little bit of spite, but mainly I was just kind of told, like, that's what you've got to go and do. And I was like, exam, exam, exam. Consultant is the top of the food chain. And then you get there and suddenly you go, what's it all for? And you've no idea what it's all for. And you can have the flash car and you have the flash job and everybody looks up to you. And actually you're tearing your hair out because you have so much responsibility. You've no idea why you're there. You're there because somebody told you if you work hard and take all the exams, you'll get to an amazing place. But actually it's taken away from, I just want to be a nice person and I want to help people and I have these skills and this ability. And that's great, but you need to reconnect with that. And it's really sad when people go through and they have this ambition from when they were a kiddie that, you know, I want to go and be a doctor or whatever, and they get to the top of that. And then they just suddenly go, I've forgotten that. I've forgotten the reason that I wanted to do that, because the pressure is so high. And we live in a world where it's like, you know, the titles and, like, say, the cards and everything like that is such a big thing that people forget what's the, you know, it sounds really corny, but they forget what's inside is the important bit. And that's the thing that keeps you going into work and waking up and being excited about what you do, rather than waking up and having that horrible feeling of dread. I have to go to work today and I have to do this. And if more people accepted, you know, really got to know themselves and what drives them forward, then that would be much more comfortable for them. And also people wouldn't have massive debts. They wouldn't feel all those social pressures. I remember when I was about 10 or 11 having a conversation with one of my best friends at the time, like, we were going to have a race to see who was going to get to an Aston Martin first in their 20s. Like, obviously neither of us have done that, and I could have probably done that if I'd worked as hard as some other people in dentistry. You know, there's people I know and they work 6 days a week, 7 days a week, and they've got the flash car and everything else. And I just think it's not worth it. I don't want to do it. I don't want the stress. I would rather have my 3-bed semi-detached and, you know, my little A class outside, because that is much better for me, because the level of freedom that I have is so much more. And that's what's important to me, actually. You know, the business that I run now is about scheduling people around my time. And if I don't want to take someone on because I don't have the time, I can do that. I don't want other people working for me, because I want to go pick and choose who I work with, when I work with them. And actually that puts a cap on my earnings and I'm happy with that.
You have said bollocks to the algorithm.
I have, the algorithm of life.
Great. That's part of what, you know, the realization over the last few years is, after my, you know, I think, again, sort of, you know, back to the topic of, you know, getting up, get after what you want. First thing is you really got to understand what it is that you want. And I don't think there's anything wrong, actually, with like going after things like that, like the cars, the house, the kind of, to see, well, I suppose the financial impact it has, you know, actually how much money it costs to own and run these things. And then just cut them out. Yeah. You know, there's nothing wrong with all of that. But you've got to realize, you know, I think you have to go to that part where you just fall out of love. I guess probably a West way of saying it, actually. You fall out of love with it and you fall back in love with whatever it is that you want to do. Because I do believe still that most people have a sense of purpose. And once you find that and you really connect with it, I don't think you ever really lose it. You might forget it every now and again, but eventually it comes back because it's part of who you are. It's your core. But you can do that in loads and loads of different ways. So how would you advise someone to reset? I guess we can't say how you advise, because everyone's got a different way. But how do you do it when you reset?
I think one of the most important things to do, you need a moment of realization. You have to speak to different people. Like, some of the people that I spoke to were people that I'm not friends with now, I wouldn't be friends with. Like, I literally just was like, I need a different perspective on the situation. I have to do something because I realize that I'm unhappy, but I don't know why. So the first thing is, and I think a lot of people get that, is, you know, I feel heavy, I feel like this lack of energy, and I don't know why. You know, in theory, I should be happy. Everyone's telling me I'm successful. Everyone's telling me I should be happy. I'm talented, or whatever it is. Why don't I feel okay with that? What's the disconnect? Go and talk to different people and be really open about that. Like, literally find someone that you can talk to that isn't connected to you in a way. That could be a coach, it could be a mentor, you know, it could be someone just, you know, inside your network, or go to other networking things, because you will find people on the same plane that can talk to you like that. And yeah, I think you take a look around you. I think one of the best things people can do is go on holiday. And people are like, oh, I'm working really hard, and I've got a business, and I just feel like I'm trying to make money out of this, and I'm poor, and I'm stressed, and whatever, and I feel like, go on holiday. Like, you don't have to go anywhere expensive. Like, take a week off. It's one of the most amazing things, and we do a lot of work on this with my clients. This is a brilliant time of year for me, because loads of people have loads of revelations, and I say, when you go on holiday, enjoy your holiday, but when you come back, tell me what you liked about your holiday. Because of course you like the nice weather and everything else, but what did you actually like? And most people, when they really think about it, would be like, I really liked that at 10 a.m. we always went for coffee together, and we had quality time together, and da 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 da. And I liked the fact that I saw all these amazing things in nature, and and I really enjoyed time with this person. And what was really important to me was being outdoors, or what was really important to me was going to see all the new art, or to see the new things, or whatever. Right. Okay. Well, that's really important to you. So when we map out what's important to you, think about those things that lit you up, and then take those little steps. So take that little thing with you. So at 11 a.m., go and have your little coffee, whether that's on your own or with somebody else, because you have those little moments where you go, oh yeah, okay, and you're just reconnecting with yourself. You don't even think about it. And then you start to realize, oh yeah, okay, and then I did this, and I ate this food, and it reminded me of that and how I felt. And a lot of it sounds really woo-woo, but you have to do that, because you have to be like, okay, what actually makes me happy, and do I spend enough time just with myself, getting to know myself? Because if you spent your whole life waiting for other people to tell you what was good and what was bad, and well done for doing this, and you're really successful and you're really talented, it's really easy for your own internal monologue to just disappear. So I think just doing the little things to kind of reconnect with yourself, and just do the things that you enjoy, and then you can start to see, oh, actually, my life would be great if I could do this. And for most people, it isn't that I never worked, I have a business that totally works for me. For most people, it's, I actually really like to do something constructive. I like to be, could be around other people, or doing things for other people, or whatever. There's an interaction with humans, however introverted you are, that most people want to fulfill when they really think about it. And then I want time to go and do these things that I'm passionate about. And that's usually what it looks like for most people. And I think a lot of people make the mistake of going, so many people go, oh no, I don't want to be around people, and I don't want to do work, and I just want all this time to do nothing, to do no work. But actually what they're saying is, I'm just bored of what I'm doing now, and I don't really know what is important to me.
Absolutely. Amen. So, right, we're going to take a break, and here's a little message from our sponsors.
Are you tired of the algorithm-driven marketing madness? Do you want to break free and get real results? Then listen up, because I've got something for you. Richard, an award-winning coach, author, and entrepreneur, is on a mission to empower small business owners just like you. At imrcs.com, you'll find unique coaching methodologies and transformative programs are designed to help you achieve success and freedom. Here's what you're going to find: real people, real stories, and real solutions. It's time to crush those obstacles and take your business to the next level. Remember, it's not just about working hard. It's about working smart with the best tools and the best support. So don't wait. Head over to imrcs.com and start your journey to success today.
Welcome back.
I enjoyed that.
Did you enjoy your break? What did you get up to it? So look, we've had a few comments coming through. So Amy said that her social battery dies really quickly as well. Yep. Culty Predge.
I love that. It kind of made it sound a bit friendly as well. Like,
there's a little bit of culty predge going on.
Yeah, hang on. It's to put it in a sentence. Oh, look, there's a boomer with some culty predge.
That's another episode where we'll slate boomers. All the money, all the houses. Cheers, guys. All the pensions. Thanks a lot, guys. So yeah, Tim's not that badly. Tim's my mate in the bikey community. He's a good friend of mine. He clearly approves of my mechanic skills. Thank you very much, Tim.
Tim, all I'm saying is, anytime he reports to me about his mechanics things, the last time he was like, I did this, but I made it worse.
Yeah.
Normally the story I get, I did this, but I made it worse.
That's called learning.
Not in dentistry, it's not.
Well, look, you know, I keep going back to it. 35-year-old van, those 35-year-old van skills they've left the world. They're kept in small places. Now you want to fix your car, you just plug it in to someone. They go, oh, your battery's fucked. That'd be £15,000, please, because it's electric. Kasia, I agree. Inside is the most important thing. Everything we look for comes from there. Absolutely. Straight up. So yeah, so you're saying summertime, this sort of time is a good time to kind of catch yourself and reflect. Yeah, I agree. I did that a couple of years ago. Best/worst thing ever. Because when I sat and caught myself, I found it really difficult to get going again. And that's when I realized that basically I had experienced the big word, burnout.
Yeah.
Yeah, it took quite a while to get over, but it's all good. But there's a whole load of content on that. I'm not going to dig into all of that because I just want to keep moving forward from here on. But you say, you know, so I think, you know, it's say a bit of showing people some bravery in a sense, in that allowing yourself to not buy in to all of the bullshit. And that's part of the whole, you know, the new mission of bollocks the algorithm. Just, it's what comes from you, what you want to do. And one of the conversations we've had beforehand is around the whole concept of selfishness, which you just touched on very briefly, and the Stevie Potter selfishness scale. So, you know, 0 is, you know, you give everything to everybody, and 10 is kind of like you'd probably be in prison.
Yeah, they're mainly prisoners. I mean, I'll give you an example of like a 1 or a 2. So my friend who knows who she is, who would laugh at this, I encountered her sister on FaceTime. That was the first time I met her sister. She picked up the phone on FaceTime and random. So I was there. And I said, it's really weird because you sound just like your sister. It's really odd. It's like I'm looking at you, but you sound like your sister. And I said, say something your sister would say. And she went, if you want to. And I was like, yeah, 2 out of 10 on the selfish scale. And she will admit she is a total people pleaser, and everyone knows it. I mean, it's lovely and it's beautiful, but how often does she come to me and say, I wish I could just say no. I wish I could just learn how to say no. It's really important. And then what did I say to you? You know, when I'm training for something, I'm like a 9 out of 10. Because once I've got a goal, like, get out of the way, because I've decided what I want to do and I'm really passionate about it. Get out of the way. You know what? Your other invite to dinner is not important to me. I like you as a friend, and if you like me as a friend, we'll find something else to do at some other point. But right now, I have a thing that I need to do. And that's the other thing, is people get worried about being selfish because they're like, oh, well, you know, I should be doing things for other people. We had this conversation about the word should the other day on one of our calls, didn't we? And we said, you said most languages don't have the word.
Yeah, some languages don't actually have a word for should. There's no literal translation for it.
Because you either do or you don't. And I was like, that is so magical, because how many times do I catch people saying, well, I should do that? No. What do you want to do? What takes you towards your goal? What takes you away from it? But also, what do you want to do right now? Because the other thing is, like, it's literally all just a matter of choices. And there are different ways that you can accomplish things. If you say to me, I've got a business and I want to hit X amount of revenue per year, and you say, I want to do it in 10 years, then your timeline looks very different to the person that comes to me and says, I need to do it in 2 years. Because you're going to have to spend the same amount of time getting there. But if you're doing it in 2 years, it's going to be condensed. You're going to have to be putting a lot more hours in. It's okay to be the person that says, actually, I want the same goal, but I want it over 10 years. Because I actually have all these other things. What are the parameters of success? And that kind of dictates your selfishness. For me at the moment, I'm not doing the competition in kind of GB age grouper and the super sprinty stuff, which requires you to put in the extra minutiae of work if you want to get to the podium or whatever. It's really hard. At the moment, working on other things, like getting some of the extreme triathlons done, doing some of the really challenging races where actually the challenge is get around it and then see how well you can do it. Like, so that's totally different, because, you know, it means, and then that means, okay, well, actually the selfishness at the moment is maybe like 7 out of 10, because it allows somebody else to go and do something. But I also don't think you should feel guilty, because I think the people around you, your family and things like that, need to love you for the person that you are. And the person that you are is also based around the actions that you take and the things that you do and the passions that you have. And, you know, if you are let's say you're a mom or you're a dad, one of your elements of passion is going to be your kids. So you're never going to be that super selfish person because you've chosen to have kids and that's something you love about your life. For me, I don't. I have a dog who comes above everything else. And but that's it. And I just think there's nothing wrong with admitting I'm going to be selfish about this. I really want it. It defines me as a person, and I'm happy about that. And I'm just going to go after it. And I'm, just say no to people.
You as a childless cat lady, you're quite topical at the moment. Have you noticed the news going on in the US election? The Trump's pick
I'm not a childless cat lady. I'm a dog lady. I resent being called a cat lady. I'm very much a dog person. There's a big difference, okay?
No, I was acting as a commentator. Then if you don't really watch the news or anything like that's been going on over the pond.
Yeah, I know Joe Biden stepped out. That's Donald got shot by somebody who was extremely bad marksman.
Trump lives a little bit rent-free in my head, so I'm currently like always trying to watch, watching his downfall that just doesn't ever happen. But yeah, his pick for VP basically a couple years ago said that childless women were basically cat ladies.
Wow.
Quite funny. But anyway, as you mentioned there, you're a dog person.
Yeah, so she's wrong.
She's top wrong. Cool. All right. Well, we'll start wrapping up. So, summarize everything that we've covered. There is no summary, but I think I'll summarize. So, this community, the world we're going down, the bollocks to the algorithm path. I think there's a lot of bravery in it. I think, and it is calling people out on their perceptions, the cultural prejudices they have of you, that by doing a certain thing, that's wrong. And by, deciding that you're going to leave a job and go and do something else, allowing your hobby to take, to commercialize your hobby, being brave, big, bold and brave about a lot of things, is absolutely the way forward. And my mission has changed over the last couple of years, to still kind of serve and help people essentially develop their business. But the thing that's changed is actually developing the business to generate the revenue for them to say bollocks to the algorithm, to step off that and do what they want to do. I'm lucky in the sense that I've done this lap a couple of times and I know it works. So this is lap number 3. I don't know, there might be another 4, I don't know. But where, start a business, does really well, get bored, chuck it in the bin, start another one. Not the most, I would say don't do that. I would say evolve.
Yes, that's a better idea for sure. Yeah.
Evolve is definitely a better way of doing it.
Yes.
Not as dramatic, but in a sense, each one of these laps has just given me a little bit more perspective, and now I'm quite comfortable with where it's at. And the way I think a lot of people feel, is yes, I want to run my own business. I want to be successful. Define your own version of what success is. It doesn't necessarily have to be financial. Time that you're spending. One of the things I always forget, actually, and I should be much more grateful for this, is in the 12 years I've been running my own business, I've had more time to do the things I want to do than anyone else often I know, really. And that's something I've bought. So you'll get more time to do things. The trade-off has been a lot of energy, and if you get out of balance, I've burnt all my energy. So you've got to try and find that balance. And that's for me, that's what this whole BTTA thing is all about.
Yeah.
And it's great to have you part of it.
Well, it's nice to be a part of it. I think it's really lovely to be among a whole bunch of people who are just like, I don't really want a Ferrari, but I really want to feel like myself. And I want to know how being myself fits into the rest of the world. And the rest of the world says, you got to make money to live, right? So how do I be my best self and feel comfortable in myself and, do that in capitalism? And there's nothing wrong with that. Like, just go and be yourself and make some money and enjoy it. And then you can live the life that you want to. And it's just a nice, you once you get on that pathway, the momentum is really cool. You can say yes to a lot of things. You can say, and you have a lot more freedom and you feel so much more confident, and it doesn't matter what car you have on the driveway. You know, maybe that does matter to you, but like if it's not something that's important to you, all of those other worries just go away and you actually can worry about the stuff that really matters, which is really important.
No, still, I think those things do still matter. Someone said to me, Rich, your van looks like a piece of shit. I would be quite hurt and offended. There's fighting words. Right, come on. But no one will say that because it's awesome. But
one would say that.
Yeah, but it's of those watching interesting, there's a mechanism for that, and I think we've touched on it. Is for me when to go after what you're after from the business point of view, the first thing you got to do is have a passion for what it is that you're about to do. Actually, give a shit. That's the bit that can't teach you. You've got to fall in love with the business and do it for have a couple of swings at it. If there's certain things that I'm not really into this, then stop, find something else. Find something that lights you up, find people with a problem that that you can solve, and make sure that there's enough money in it to make it worthwhile. One of the things that really breaks my heart actually is around the world of custom motorcycles and the amount of time and energy that these really, really talented people put into building and creating these motorcycles. But there's no money in it. There's no market. Guys people in the UK just won't spend the money on them. Across the pond, there's a bigger market. Obviously, there's a bit more people and there's more of a cultural kind of connection to them. So, when I was looking at, I could get into the custom bike game, no point. Absolutely no point.
Yeah.
Not a lot of money in there. I was thinking about doing it, getting guys to build them and sell them. Who are you going to sell them to? You end up selling them to the same people over and over again.
Yeah.
So things that are cool are kind of difficult to commercialize, but not impossible. So yeah, you have to unfortunately have one of the P's in the game. Problem is profit.
Yeah,
and that's the capital.
And also, I think the really important message when we say about you need to be thinking about how do I do something that I'm passionate about, that sits with my values, that helps me be an authentic person, that makes me money, is one of the important steps for me when working with people, is to say profit isn't a dirty word. Like money isn't a dirty word, and it is the thing that enables you to continue to grow in confidence and authenticity, because it allows you to relax. And the more you can get out of that horrible worried brain that worries about things that don't matter to you, whatever those things are that you haven't worked out yet, the more time, the more energy you will have, and the more positive energy you will have to really be involved in the things that you love. And the key thing there is money, whether you like it or not. And even if money didn't exist, the trade system would exist. There has to be that fair trade, and you will always do well if you're focusing on the thing that's important to you. But you have to get to know what that is, but you also need to accept that you need to make money and you need to be rewarded for doing the thing that you're doing for the world.
Absolutely. So I was distracted by a comment that Cash has put in. I live in a place next to the biggest motorcycle community in Arizona.
So Rich is now planning his holiday to Arizona.
Well, I've often wanted to visit my Arizona, and and Cash is amazing. I've known each other for a very long time. We actually were working together in the start of the aesthetic market. Way back.
How many years before I was born was that? It's taken 44 minutes and 26 seconds for you to do that. Like, that's a new record for me, because I've normally put it out about 15 minutes. So.
Normally you piss me off after about 5 seconds. So right, So anyway, it's getting close to your nap time.
It's my bedtime.
Yeah. Don't want to, don't get too late, otherwise you'll be grumpy in the morning.
Yeah, I had my snack, so I do need a nap soon. Yeah. It's time for me to get my milky bottle and go to bed.
So fantastic, guys. Thank you very much for joining me today. So to the community, to the YouTube guys, the podcast, and the Facebook guys, I love this. I can do one bit of content and it goes out 3 different places. Makes my life so much more simple.
Practice what you preach, buddy. You do.
Makes my life much more better. I want to hear from you guys. There's a lot of talented people in this world, in this group, and we are here to help you, regardless of what it is you want to do. So lean into it, The group will evolve, it will bubble. If you think there are people out there who get benefit from this, throw them in. It's taken a little bit of time to get it up and running, but we're moving now. Yeah, I'll be back next Thursday. I think I might be next Thursday. I'm off to hook up next weekend. It's the
oh my god, look, little excited Hulk hands.
I know, Hulk hands. It's the hook up chopper show in Wales next weekend. So hopefully my van will get there. He'll get there.
That's always the most exciting part for Richard. When he goes on a journey, which vintage vehicle is he taking and will it make it?
Do you know what? It's the thing when I drive the posh car, the Shogun, I drive without a sense of anxiety. Yeah. There's something, it's not right. It's just not right. You know, I need to be driving thinking, it's like, what's that noise?
I think we have some work to do on your reptilian mind.
It's just a life. Anyway, right. So, guys, Stevie, thank you very much. TeamGSD, thank you very much. I will catch up with you all guys over the next few weeks, days, whatever. Take care of yourselves and lean in. If anybody wants to join me on a Data 8, I am totally happy to interview new and amazing people. Find out a little about what you're doing, put you out, hope you get out there to the world. And yeah, let's all move forward together. And one of these days, I'm actually going to be in the van when I do this.
In an actual seat, not just like on that break.
Yeah, cold in the middle of nowhere, probably. Right. Take care, guys. See you soon. Live video has ended.
Well, that went well.
It did. Well done. It's always easy to do these things with you. So, cool.
Well, there's some stuff to chop out for the podcast, but otherwise it's good. I'm going to go because I
tried to keep it 45 minutes for you. So
yeah, you did. No, that was sweet. 2046. That's good going.
Right. See you later.
Have a good weekend.
Bye bye.
Oh, I can't leave. There we go.